Again, everyone, I am going to tell you about why these kids are using face masks with a slit. Well, I'm just going to show you pictures because this is just... Does this help anybody? Does this, other than making it more difficult to play your instrument because you've got a piece of cloth over your nose, does this help anybody? The sound and science of music school bands adapt to COVID-19. And I'm just going to show you these pictures. Like, really? Like, are the masks preventing the droplets? Are they? Really? You think so? Okay. Oh, this goes over the bottom of the musical instrument. See? So the droplets don't escape the musical instruments. Videos. It's all sorts of, look at how compliant we are. This is propaganda to normalize masks. Masks that don't work because look at all those cases. Remember when they said masks work because case numbers are going down? Case numbers aren't going down anymore. So masks work? Come on. Here's Ontario doctors sign letter to Premier advising against sweeping lockdowns. 21 Ontario doctors have signed a joint letter to Premier Doug Ford urging him not to issue a new lockdown this fall because of rising COVID-19 case numbers. I'm just going to jump to the letter here. We are writing this letter in support of the government's plan to use a tactical, localized approach rather than sweeping new lockdown measures to deal with the increased COVID case numbers in Ontario, the letter says. Lockdowns have been shown not to eliminate the virus. While they slow the spread of the virus, this only lasts as long as the lockdown lasts. This creates a situation where there's no way to end the lockdown and society cannot move forward in vitally important ways, including in the health sector, the economy, and other critically important instrumental goods, including education, recreation, and healthy human social interactions. We're reacting to the increased aggregate case numbers, but the percentage positive is not really as bad as it used to be, he said. We're testing more people, and so we're finding more cases. And I talked about this yesterday as well. Here's an example. Today's ICU usage is less than 1% of the predicted models. Best case scenario, 8,940 people have died in Ontario this month for all causes. Do you know how many people are COVID-19? 33. That's way less than 1% of total deaths. Why do people cheer for the virus and want to kill our economy? It's madness. And here's a screenshot of a TV that shows the breakdown as well. And there's math in this article. This is taking longer to load than I thought. Anyway, April 24th tested 12,995 people, and they had 640 active cases. That's 4.9%. September 28th tested 41,100 people, and there were 700 positive cases, not that much more than the 640, right? And that's 1.7%. So that's a significant difference, okay? I scroll down a little bit. Monday's 700 cases in Ontario came from 41,111 total tests for a positive percentage rate of 1.7%. April 24th, 5.2%. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The testing capacity was lower in the spring than it is now, and the testing criteria has changed over time. However, Dr. Rowe and other signatories of the letter said the increasing case numbers are not leading to an unmanageable level of hospitalizations. In Ontario and other parts of the world, such as the European Union, increasing caseloads are not necessarily translating into unmanageable levels of hospitalization and ICU admissions, the letter says. The letter also points to other health impacts linked to the lockdown. Hard data now exists showing the significant negative health effects shutting down society has caused. Overall health has Overdoses have risen 40% in some jurisdictions. Extensive morbidity has been experienced by those whose surgery has been canceled, and the ramifications for cancer patients whose diagnostic testing was delayed has yet to be determined, the letter states. Economic harms are health harms, Dr. Rowe told CFRA. It sounds horrible to say, but it's true. Health is wealth. We know this. We do know this. You can see the entire letter here. I haven't gone through it because it would have been a long thing to read. Actually, it wouldn't have been that long, I guess, but still, you can read it for yourself. I'm not going to read it for you. Today, I might have usually in the past, but today, I just want to get this out. Here's the model that they were talking about. Anthony Fury tweeted it out. Link is in the description. The Ontario modeling released this morning. This is September 30th. Today is October 1st. Welcome to October. The Ontario modeling released this morning, interestingly, shows that 10 days in, the current ICU numbers, blue line, are lower than even their lowest and their low end scenario. So there's the actual. So you see, okay, hold on, let's see. That's good. You see the blue line there? That's actual Ontario. The green line is the low scenario. The red line is the medium scenario. And high scenario is this invisible red mass behind, I guess. I don't know. There's no line that the high scenario is pointing to. So that's kind of funny, actually. It's around here. Graphs. They're wonderful, aren't they? So that's interesting. It's interesting to note that we're not even close to the, well, I guess we're kind of close to the low scenario, but what's deaths, right? And I mean, if the ICU admissions in the low scenario are hovering around 1%, that's good news, isn't it? Not reason to lock down, right? Okay, City News is reporting Toronto City Council approves further restrictions on bars and restaurants. Toronto City Council unanimously voted Wednesday to implement further restrictions to try and curb the spread of COVID-19. Councillors voted in favor of a plan, but put forth earlier this week by Toronto's medical officer of health that will mainly affect restaurants and bars in the city. Bars and restaurants will now be required to log contact information for every customer, not just one person in each party, and the number of people allowed at a table will be limited to 6. As well, the number of people allowed inside a restaurant or a bar at any one time will now be limited to 75, down from 100. Establishments where music or any other background sounds are played are being ordered to keep the level no louder than normal conversation in order to prevent the spreading of droplets. Maybe you could, not have a slit in your mask. No, it's stupid. It's all stupid. It's all dumb. It's all stupid. This is going to kill bars and restaurants. This is not a good idea. This is a terrible, awful idea. This makes people more dependent on the government and the curb. This prevents people from being able to build a business. This empties people's savings out. So if they were planning to build a business, you need a nest egg to make sure the business can survive a couple of lean months before you get going, right? Before things actually start going for the business. And well, they were using that to survive the last couple of months. So, what do you expect? How are people supposed to deal with the crushing economic impact of these overreacting city councillors? What do we do if Doug Ford decides that, yeah, that's a pretty good idea and the people of Toronto are dealing with it fine, so everybody can deal with it? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to fly. And, there are places that are just barely holding on now. This isn't going to help. And it's even worse in Quebec. Here's Evan Solomon. There are very stringent rules in Quebec. Red zones as of midnight. No guests in house. No outside gatherings. Masks at protests. No movement from red zone to say restaurant in orange zone. Remote police warrants. $1,000 fines. Looks like for 1 month. That's jaw-dropping. That's unbelievable. Here's the park clip that I showed earlier. Sharing this, going to this link takes you here. I've clicked this one. I've clicked share this link. But it doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't work. I'm going to do it again. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll take you directly to this one. I've gone back a couple of times and been looking at this tab, and I'm like, why did I use this? What am I doing? But it's this that I wanted to show you. So here it is. This is Quebec. Here we go.
You are ordered to maintain a minimum distance of 2 meters between each of you, except for members of the same family who stay in the same place. Refusing to comply with this order will result in a fine ranging from you are ordered to maintain a...
I usually mute myself, but I didn't because the microphone's been temperamental. Okay. Regardless, yeah, I mean, that's police on a loudspeaker going through a park. Danger, danger, citizen, right? Danger, citizen. Here's CTV News. Quebec police give telewarrant system to enforce new lockdown orders. 3 Quebec regions face partial lockdown measures starting today after reaching the highest COVID-19 alert level earlier this week. People living in the greater Montreal, Quebec City, and I'm not going to say that one region, south of the provincial capital will live with the new restrictions for at least 28 days as the province tries to get COVID-19 cases under control. Bars, casinos, concert halls, cinemas, museums, and libraries are to be shuttered in those regions, and restaurants will be limited to takeout. Private gatherings are prohibited, and people cannot have any visitors from another address at their homes, with few exceptions, like caregivers or maintenance workers. Outdoor gatherings are forbidden. Masks are mandatory for demonstrations, and police have the power to hand out hefty fines to those who flout the rules. As of Wednesday, Quebec has averaged 740 new COVID-19 cases daily in the past 7 days. Premier François Legault has said that protecting schools, the health system, and people's jobs remain the priority. That can't be the priority if you're shutting everything down, right? And especially in light of the fact that you're getting 1%, well, as illustrated by the earlier story, a less than 2% positive in Toronto anyway, or in Ontario anyway. It just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. Norman Levin is saying, why did teachers' unions try to scare the crap out of parents, students, and teachers and try to make all provincial governments look like they had no idea what they were doing? I didn't think my opinion of teachers' unions could go lower, but it did. Oh, it could go plenty low. But here's a vast majority of schools with COVID-19 have only 1 or 2 cases. Yeah. And what's that false positive rate again, Ms. Yaff? Very high, right? So these are situations with COVID-19. I mean, particularly the loudspeaker in the Quebec park that is announcing the rules and the fines. That can't be the way out of this. More draconian lockdowns. You can't see your parents, your family, your neighbors, your friends. You can't see anybody regardless of anything. You must listen to the government and not question the ICU rates, the death rates, just cases. Make no noise, just comply. Stay in your homes and afraid. Don't buy extra toilet paper or they'll call you crazy. Right? Like it just doesn't make any sense, especially when like this is clearly an overreach. Like this is not, we have the right to free assembly. We have the right to protest. We have the right to be outside, right? And I think that using COVID-19 as an excuse, it's a convenient one for the government to use. See yesterday's, we're canceling all flag raisings for the foreseeable future. Sorry, China. Convenient excuse, right? But they're using it on the public to crack down on your civil liberties. And that's not good. We need to stop it. Okay, there's a couple of cleanup stories that I want to talk about. Number one, millions out of work, businesses shutting daily, and the agency that can't even get a Presto card to work gives a 35% raise to the boss. We are not all in this together. So the Ontario Metrolinx guy gets a substantial raise. His pay could hit $823,000 a year. That's a lot of money. I gotta wonder what people do to make $1 million a year. Like to have somebody pay you $1 million a year, you're making them a lot more money, right? Like, so like, maybe I should get into that. Maybe I should call those people. Are you a millionaire? Can I help you? Probably not. This is working fine. I'm just fine. It's no big deal. But it seems like $800,000 to oversee Metrolinx. And what are the criteria, right, for getting your raise, for your substantial raise? And I don't know what he was making before, but $823,000 seems like a lot of money per year to run Toronto Transit, or a specific version of Toronto Transit. Claire Bronfman sentenced to prison in branded NXIVM sex slave case. Bronfman is a very, 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 very connected name, and the fact that Claire Bronfman is being sentenced and going to prison is a big deal. And yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So I'm going to mention it. I'm not going to go further into it. There's video on Twitter. You can see the ritual branding of these people. But Bronfman has connections to a lot of the leadership in our country, in Canada, and very interesting. It's not too many steps between people for Justin Trudeau, and like direct big leadership, big names for Claire Bronfman. Not too many steps to people who are connected directly from Claire to Justin. Interesting stuff. And, who knows, right? Like, I'm sure there are lots of people connected with me who have committed crimes in back in the day, etc. But, none of them were like instrumental in the election campaigns or anything like that, right? So like, it's interesting. These connections mean something. Something's going on. Here's Donald Trump, the last story for today. And with the something's going on, this is 26 seconds at the Minnesota rally. And he's saying it's about time something happens. We've got plenty of information on these crooks. This is interesting. If you've been paying attention to this, I've been paying attention to this. So perhaps I could have only done one video today, but it would have been 33 minutes. That's too long. All right, here's Donald Trump to finish us out. Here we go.
Did you go for a coup? Did you go for a coup? I don't remember. I'll tell you, we caught him cold. It's about time that something happens, okay? It's about time that something happens. It's enough. We got plenty of information on these crooks. Bunch of crooks. Thing like that's never happened in the history of our country, and it's about time that something happens.
Man, it's about time something happens. And, Trump's famous for saber rattling. He likes his crowds. He likes to play the strong man in front of his base, and that's exactly what he's doing. His rhetoric has not changed. He's talked about crooked Hillary Clinton. He's talked about Joe Biden. During the debate, he called out Joe's crooked son, who's got kicked out of the army for cocaine use and took billions of dollars or millions of dollars from Ukraine for no what's the word? No experience in the sector, no job, no energy experience. What did he do? And Biden called Trump a liar and all sorts of stuff. But man, this is very interesting. Tick, tick, tick. The more that Trump talks about strategy, because he keeps implying that he's got lots of time after the election, win or lose in November. If he loses in November, he's still president until the 17th of January, right? Lots of time to declassify lots of stuff. Lots of time to change tactics, right? Like, you can still get a win. It might not be as clean as 2 terms and getting everything into places you like, but he could still get what he wants potentially, and it could all get buried potentially. Like, I think that he's very much in a chess game, and the chess game is as high stakes as you could possibly make it. The Western world hangs in the balance, I think, and Trump is calling them out. He's taunting them. I don't know. Maybe he's that confident. Who knows? He certainly seems that confident. And in the past, I mean, he denuclearized North Korea. He brought peace to the Middle East in multiple countries' agreements, and he said there's more to come. There's a lot of interesting moves that Trump has made, and he usually is quite quiet until he's got something. So maybe he's got something. Very interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. Check out SpeakingMoistly.co. Greg and I hung out the other day, and we chatted about life in the world and all that other fun stuff that's happening. And it was pretty fun. And we'll do it again next Tuesday, hopefully. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.